19 out of 20 complaints come to nothing.
I know the statistics, Mr. Hardcastle. And you know the circumstances surrounding the majority of allegations.
The complainants are either out of control or out to get the police.
All investigations are carried out thoroughly and efficiently.
I wonder what you think about this. A constituent of mine made a complaint about a violent attack on a young woman by 2 CID officers 6 months ago. Absolutely nothing has happened.
I'm not in a position to comment on a specific case, Mr. Hardcastle, as you very well know.
My constituent was told at the very beginning by a police officer at the same station as the accused men, Beckett Park, that he might as well forget the complaint because that's what everyone else would do in the end.
This is idle hearsay, Mr. Hardcastle. You have no business identifying a case that may very well be sub judice.
Just piss off, mate.
Look, it was only...
Hey, I told you to piss off. I hope you're wearing a condom, old son.
I thought we had a deal, Mary.
That was bloody months ago. Got to earn my living.
I said I wanted you out of London. I meant it.
Custody documents, incident report books, loads of other guff, all accounted for.
And at the end of the day, you're right where I said you would be. Alan Hansen and Mike Siddons didn't assault anyone.
Well, all I know is we couldn't prove anything. Just another file full of conflicting evidence.
You've been in those rubber heels too long, Maureen. Should be out catching villains.
Yeah.
Sergeant Connell, how's it going?
You take care now, Harry.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Is that it then? Official?
The investigation will not proceed any further.
Yeah. Always a pity to see old friends go, though, Sergeant Connell.
Sarge.
There you go, Mikey. Piece of piss. And you can put your long face back in the locker room.
Marvellous, eh, Sarge? 6 months with a 163 hanging over us and not so much as an apology.
You'll get a nice letter from the Police Complaints Authority. You can frame it. First of many. Tonight's going to turn into a bit of a celebration.
I'll be there.
Meanwhile, pub time. And Mikey is buying. Oh, yes, thank you very much.
I asked Mr. Hardcastle why a Tory MP was taking such a hard line with the police.
This is too serious a matter for party politics, believe me.
Knock it on the head. Any suggestion we're selective about the way we investigate complaints means serious damage.
Hardcastle, no right, bringing in a case...
Well, we're not going to get very far arguing parliamentary bloody etiquette with him.
I do know that the
No
police
fudges.
station in question-
Either Clark gets enough evidence to bring serious charges against these clowns, or they're completely
all
exonerated.
directed at the same detectives. And if that embarrasses Mr. Dunning, it damn
Scotland
well
Yard.
should.
James Hardcastle from the House of Commons.
I pushed Dunning hard, harder than he's used to. Obviously, he couldn't give me any answers, but he was rattled. Something will happen.
It's an interesting idea. A system of justice which depends on the degree of public embarrassment its guardians are exposed to. A fragile thread on which to hang our liberties.
I know how much time and effort you put into this complaint, Mr. Feldman, but it's hardly Dreyfus.
Of course, we mustn't forget that even if the police did behave badly, it's still only a prostitute who was beaten up.
If I thought that, I wouldn't be fighting so hard for you.
You will get your reward in heaven, if not sooner. Who knows? Thank you for talking to me.
Mr. Feldman, I'll be in touch.
Hansen and Siddons both admit being there. That's not a problem.
Their amiable chat with Mary Shibden is Feldman's vicious assault.
Did they do it? Did they do it? Did they do it?
Well, the Toms disappeared off the face of the earth, and she didn't want to make a statement anyway. What we got from her is pretty half-assed, so it's Feldman's word against theirs, and no victim. PCA are going to give us a dispensation on it. No Tom's going to take on a complaint like this and stick to it.
But Feldman took her to accident and emergency at the Royal Free Hospital.
She was stoned. She was falling about.
Do you want to take this, Gov?
5 seconds, sir.
What did they say at the hospital?
Yeah.
Well, she'd be knocked about a bit. She's always knocked about a bit. She's a tart, drug addict. Story of her life, innit?
Well, I'm not going to know that until tomorrow, am I? Yeah, look, I've got to go, OK? Yeah, I'll call you. Yeah, bye. Sorry.
Nevertheless, Siddons and Hansen are lying.
Well, I didn't get the feeling that anyone at Beckett Park thinks that having a go at a prostitute's the worst thing in the world. Or an addict. So is that it, sir?
No, it's not. Our elders and betters want a result. So get one.
What?
We just put it to bed. What are we opening it up again for?
Do it!
Morning, sir. Ooh, that's a sexy haircut, Inspector. I called in at Beckett Park on my way back from Chigwell. I'm not sorry to see the last of that place. That D.I. Corbett. Right, now, I know my flies aren't undone. What's so funny?
Tony, it's me. I thought you'd be on your way.
I'll be off in 5 minutes.
They'll be here in half an hour.
And so will I.
I promised I'd strangle you if you were late. I meant it.
If the lights are against me, I'll pick up a neck brace from the hospital. Right?
Okay. Leave now and save your life.
I'm on my way. Dinner with an old mate. I was at Hendon with him.
Sounds good.
Great. Not only does he resent the fact that I'm a superintendent and he's still a DS, but he also thinks anyone in complaints investigation is a pillock.
Should get him a transfer. We can show him he's right.
I've been running through one of the Beckett Park tapes.
Oh, can this wait till tomorrow, sir? I've really got to get off.
It'll take a minute.
Hurry, save me!
DC Siddons would like to propose a toast.
All right.
To Clark the Narc!
Hey,
Making the streets a safer place for villains.
gone and very soon forgotten.
Police has got his clothes on.
We'll have to get him in better form than this if he's going to join the lodge.
Lodge? What lodge?
Whoa!
Hey, Michael! There you go.
Can't you control him, Harry? Control!
Same again, Dick. I'm getting around it.
I'll give you a hand.
Gin and tonic.
I hope you're not going to make a habit out of asking our friend Sergeant Connell round to Beckett Park. I mean, I know you like her, but she keeps some very strange company.
Come on. Even Clark's only doing a job.
Yeah, even Clark. Rather him than me. I mean, she's got to be a dyke.
Well, I knew Maureen Connell when she was just a kid, terrified of walking her first beat.
I don't think you'll find there's a Mr. Connell, Harry.
And every WPC who doesn't fancy Dick Corbett a day. Corbett's law.
Hey, it's the truth.
Same again. Table 7.
I appreciate all the help and support you've given the CID on this one. So do all the lads. Hey, I've got a bit of good news for you. I'm stepping down as master of the lodge. It's all square. You're the next master. That is, if you want it.
What the bloody hell do you think?
Hey, let's have a round of whiskey chasers with that one. Large ones. There you go. Here we go. come on.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner. Do you like London town?
Hey?
Sometimes wish I lived in a 10-bedroom villa in Acapulco.
Right. Every Tom we can find. I want to find out who knows Mary Shibden and where the hell she is. And I want to find out how they get on with Beckett Park CID, especially Hanson and Siddons, all right?
Good evening, girls.
Don't worry, we're not
Listen, you saw two men shouting at a woman, Mary Shibden.
Yes. One of them slapped her face, the other one punched her. I called out, "Leave her alone," something like that. They shouted that they were policemen and told me to piss off, which I did, I'm sorry to say.
Marty, sei doch vorsichtig, bitte.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue, or have you formed your opinion?
I'm sorry?
Well, you know all this. I assume they sent a senior officer to sniff out if I was a pathological liar.
It was felt that someone should reassure you that your complaint is being pursued.
I thought it might be. I listened to Today in Parliament too, Chief Superintendent. I badger my MP unmercifully. He even talks to me. Don't you find it odd that the effect of proving that I was stalking the Caledonian Road in search of a prostitute would have been to somehow neutralize the attack on Miss Shibden? But have somehow made it okay. Does that bother you at all, Mr. Deakin?
Nice evening.
I'm sorry.
Something came up.
Yeah.
And who exactly was she?
She was exactly Chief Superintendent Deakin wanting my balls on a plate for not putting someone else's balls on a plate.
It's nearly bloody midnight.
They've thrown a case back at me. I had to get it moving again. I called you, Sue. I said I'd be late.
You said you'd be back at 10.
I really don't need a row with you. If I don't sort this one out, it could damage me, all right? I thought they'd still be here. I mean, since when did Steve leave before finishing the brandy?
I told Mandy and Steve you're on your way. And then Steve said, well, that's a job for you, Sue, once. He said it 100 bloody times.
Well, he was never very hot in conversation.
Once, just once, we tried to do something. We tried to make some small, ordinary, halfway pleasant thing happen, and you just screw it all up, like you screw everything else up. What did you do? Sit at the end of the road until they'd gone? Well, you needn't have bothered. They were both telling me how early in the morning they had to get up from the minute they arrived.
Sorry, just missed you. I didn't mean to be so short earlier. There's a bit of shit flying around here. I will try for tomorrow. I can't promise that. All right, cheers.
Hello? Nobody there? I wonder if it's the same nobody who phoned twice last week. So who is she?
Not in the mood, Sue.
Well, who is she?
Play your own games if you want, but leave me out, huh? I don't care who was on the phone. Maybe it was the wrong number. Maybe it was one of my hundreds of ex-girlfriends dying to hear the sound of my voice. Either way, I couldn't give a stuff.
I doubt if there's anything very ex about this one.
Good night.
Do you think she just called to say goodnight too? That's sweet, isn't it?
I screwed up tonight, I'm sorry. The only place I've been is King's Cross Station talking to tarts. What do you want, an incident report from Naylor?
I certainly wouldn't mind an incident. It's a long time since this bed saw anything like an incident.
Oh, leave it, Sue.
So, I can now look forward to you doing a lot of late night work, can I?
I've had a difficult day, all right?
Does she know you'll be bored with her in a couple of months? I hope she's not expecting too much in the way of nights out either. I mean, you've never thought any woman was worth spending money on. So, how long have you been screwing her?
Will you shut up?
Or is it love? I mean, if your little heart's that full of her, don't let your work start slipping. Only we've been there before.
I am not screwing anyone, all right? I am not screwing anyone, you sour bitch! Just leave it.
God's sake, Tony! Why are you doing this? What are you doing? Stop it!
You satisfied?
So, you believe that Mary Shibden could provide you with information about some stolen property?
Yes, sir.
What about this fence, Amal Kabir?
Kabir was a pimp. His brother Mahmood was fencing. So there was a good chance Mary'd know where the warehouse was.
So what was the matter with an interview room at Beckett Park?
Well, dragging her in would have been like advertising. Kabir would have cut her to ribbons for shopping his brother.
Not that she did.
No, sir.
Very considerate of you anyway, Constable.
He wanted information, that's all. Not an unusual situation. It's what being a detective's all about, isn't it?
I know what being a detective is all about. It's not about pulling a woman down the side of some pub and knocking her from wall to wall. It's not about punching a woman in the face.
No one touched her.
Or would you say that punching a woman in the face is not an unusual situation down at Beckett Park?
We questioned her. That's all that happened.
So, we're saying that Mr. Feldman took it into his head to walk down the Caledonian Road and pretend he saw two men beating up a woman.
I can't answer for Mr. Feldman's motives. All I can tell you is the truth.
Interview halted at 10:32. Superintendent Clark leaving the room.
Oi. Superintendent said halted. That means he'll be back. Sit down.
If Mary Shibden's done a runner up north, she's had convictions in Manchester, Grimsby, Bradford and Leeds. Mostly soliciting, some possession. Gov.
Yes, I know that. The north is the only information we got out of 3 hours at King's Cross. Chase it.
Leeds is where she's collected most of them. She's worked in Chapeltown off and on for 4 years. I've been in touch with Manchester, Humberside and West Yorkshire. If she's up there and if she's working...
Look, wherever she is working. She needs her heroin.
They want details. You know, I'm not going to get very speedy results if I tell them we want her to nail some coppers.
Then lie, Maureen. Tell them she's an axe murderer.
Fine.
Morning, Tony. Any movement at Beckett Park?
Well, sir...
Now, you understand why we have to push this through with some urgency.
Yeah, clear results don't come easy in assault allegations, sir.
Well, I hope they do in this case, Tony. I don't care which way it goes, but I don't want fudge. Now, get them charged or get them the Queen's Award for gallantry. Either will do. Oh, we're having a barbecue on Sunday. See if you can make it. It's time we met your wife.
So why didn't someone get hold of me?
CIB called him in first thing. There was no time.
Then someone should have made some bloody time. That dyke told you it was over.
That's what she said.
That toe-rag Feldman just can't leave it alone. Some wanky professional complainer, and that's good enough for the top brass. We're out there taking all the shit all the time, and now our own are shoveling more on us.
Why didn't you take Mary to the station when you picked her up?
Well, we wanted information, that's all. Anyway, it was safer for her.
You and Siddons certainly look after your informants.
Well, didn't you, sir? It's not exactly an unusual situation.
If Mr. Feldman was mistaken, what did he actually see?
He saw DC Siddons and myself talking to Mary Shibden.
And you told him to piss off?
I told him that we were police officers and that there was no problem and that he should move on.
So he's deaf as well as blind?
Look, you've got all this in front of you.
Mr. Feldman say he heard you say, piss off, police, go on, piss off?
You better ask him.
They're so bloody complacent. They know they're lying, we know they're lying, they know we know.
Go on, Gov, it's not the first time you've heard a detective lie, is it?
A woman who has been beaten up by the police is so frightened that she would prefer to disappear. And you see this as a reason to stop the investigation rather than to pursue it. Through the looking glass, or what? And this is the same mirror, I suppose. One of the men I saw attacking Mary Shibden is here, the other is not.
No, they're both there, Mr. Feldman.
Oh, no.
It was rather dark.
Ah, and my inability to identify one thing very neatly questions my ability to identify others. I saw both men distinctly. I can identify both men. One of them is not here. I'm not easily confused, Superintendent. And I will not disappear.
I'd like to welcome passengers now arrived at platform 5 into Leeds. The train at platform 5 is 10:33. Intercity arrival from London, King's Cross. This train terminates at Leeds.
You can do what you like with the allegation. I made a mistake.
Mary, I was there when you gave your statement to Superintendent Clark. It didn't sound like a mistake to me.
Well, you weren't there 3 days later, were you?
Why, what happened?
Switch the bloody tape off. I'm not making any more statements. I was out on a tree last time. It was a pack of lies.
And the bruises?
You think there's a shortage of blokes to knock me about? I'm not talking into that tape. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm here, I'm out of London. What else do they want?
I can't stay long.
Stay a bit.
Not really. About an hour.
Oh, Tony. Hardly got started.
I can't stay long.
Do you want the start and a quick screw or the quick screw and the pudding?
It's not exactly easy for me, Jenny.
I don't see how I can make it any easier.
It's not working, is it? I don't know what it's doing to you, but it's doing some pretty nasty stuff to me. I can't handle it.
What do you mean? The only pressure I've put on you is the pressure to find some time for each other. I thought that was the point of all this. I don't have to sit around waiting for a few minutes of your time, Tony. I mean, there are other offers.
Well, maybe you ought to take one of them up. We're not doing each other any good.
I thought we needed each other. I know we want each other.
I've got to get a few things sorted out.
What's new?
Look. I'm just sick of listening to myself lying all the time. will call.
Don't bother. Have you seen either of the two detectives since the day of the alleged assault? Has either Siddons or Hansen spoken to you since? Has either of them threatened you?
They're just the monkeys who dance about. It's the organ grinder who turns the handle.
Are we going to talk about it?
I don't think so.
I am sorry. I'm very sorry.
Good.
What's happened to the dressing table?
It's gone.
Could have been mended.
I don't think so.
Of course it could.
I didn't want it mended. I wanted it out.
Huxtable's asked us to a barbecue next Sunday.
Good.
Don't blame me if it isn't. Hello. Oh, Maureen, hi. How's it going?
It was Corbett, not Siddons, who was outside the pub.
Corbett?
Corbett with Hansen. Siddons is carrying it for him. And Mary Shibden's been warned off by Corbett several times. That's why she's in Leeds. I think so. Hang on. It goes deeper. 3 days after the complaint was made by Feldman, after you interviewed Mary for the first time, she was picked up and taken to Beckett Park. She saw Corbett in a cell on his own, and basically he beat the shit out of her.
Well, that's beautiful, Maureen. Beautiful. See you.
Yes, these are the men.
Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch.
Don't you think it would have been better if all this had gone unchallenged, Superintendent?
My job's investigation, Mr. Feldman. That's what I do.
And you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. There are those who believe that if the police were fully answerable for their actions, they'd be tied so tight that no one would be convicted of anything. In a dirty world, a policeman who can't fight dirty?
I think there's a line, Mr. Feldman.
But no one knows where to draw it. And most people don't want to even think about having to draw it. I'm no different, you know. I walked away too. That's one response to the problem of survival. Be invisible. Make no waves. It doesn't work.
Thank you, Mr. Feldman.
Mary was picked up 3 days after we interviewed her and taken to Beckett Park by a uniformed officer. True?
I can't answer questions I don't understand.
You spent some time in a cell talking to her, alone.
I don't think so, Sergeant.
She was released the following morning. She spent the next 8 days in Whittington Hospital with a broken jaw. A broken jaw which you gave her.
Bollocks.
We now have a statement from Shibden. It puts you outside the Chancellor's arms. It puts you in the cell 4 days later. You'll also find that Mr. Feldman will be able to identify you.
Hansen and Siddons were there. No one's disputing that.
I'm disputing it. My governor wants it disputed all the way into a courtroom.
Everything that happened is recorded.
Mary Shibden says that Corbett came into her cell. He threatened her. And then he hit her several times. To make the point.
I don't remember Mary Shibden being here. And if D.I. Corbett had wanted to talk to her about anything, he would have followed the pace regulations. It will be in the book.
If Corbett was in there to warn her off, you knew about it. You know about everything that goes on in this station. We'll be seeing you.
Feldman has no reason to lie, Corbett. You have.
So's Alan Hansen, so's Mike Siddons. He's got a reason to take a complaint for me.
He's your boy. He'd climb a tree for you. And you've got promotion coming up, haven't you?
Mary Shibden's a vicious little doped-up tart. Feldman's, I don't know, some sort of senile old lefty who wants to be a local hero before he pegs it. And as for Mary being pulled in by the uniforms, so what? I wasn't there. I suppose Harry Ross is lying as well.
We should be asking him, Inspector.
They don't come any straighter than Sergeant Ross.
We've won the Met Cup 3 times. First time was the year I stopped playing. Guess winning's a bigger thing now. We weren't that bothered about it. Come on, George! Mark him tight. Good lad. Ah, good days. The best. Don't let them run away.
Oh, I think I already have.
Don't be daft. I was expecting a call from your governor. Not a social visit. It amounts to the same thing, doesn't it?
I wanted to talk to you first.
Whose idea?
He thinks you're protecting Corbett. So do I.
You know what you're doing to my station.
Your station's getting a very dodgy reputation.
Not for getting results.
And you're sure?
Dick Corbett pushes a bit too hard sometimes. Doesn't make him corrupt.
He's corrupting his department. What kind of detective is Siddons going to make? He's already perjuring himself. And Corbett's got you lying for him, too.
Oh, no.
You think there's a difference between a woman getting beaten up by a pimp and beaten up by Beckett Park CID? Do you think one's all right?
I always had a soft spot for you, Maureen. Doesn't mean Superintendent Clark can send you in to soften me up. I'm not senile.
But you are lying. You don't do it very well. I don't know why you're doing it at all for a pillock like Corbett.
They say rubber heels is a good career move these days. Hope it's doing you good. I'll be at CIB tomorrow. Till then, I assume my time's my own.
Lying puts a hell of a strain on people. It really screws some of them up. You've seen it 1,000 times.
Come on, you wankers! Work, work! Let's go! Come on!
How long was it really before anyone went in there after Corbett's visit? Wasn't not going in a way of pretending it hadn't happened?
If we'd known, she would not have been left. I'd have called a doctor.
So now you're saying D.I. Corbett was in the custody suite. He did go in the cell.
I did not see Inspector Corbett. All the events are recorded in the custody records.
So what happened? He walked in with a paper bag over his head and you went and sat in the bog with the PCs for half an hour?
You've got my records.
Is it common knowledge that Siddons is standing in for Corbett? That it was Corbett and Hansen beating up Mary Shibden, and that Inspector Corbett's a bit touchy about his promotion prospects?
All I know is what Siddons and Hansen have told me. I've given you all the information I can.
Interview halted. 11:31.
You owe the job more than you owe Corbett. It's not too late to climb back. You know Corbett was in the cell. You must have seen him.
Yes, he was there. He was there, and I chose to ignore it.
You must be Sue Clark and Tony.
Mrs. Huxtable.
It's Elizabeth. Brian is appalling at introductions. In fact, he's appalling at almost everything except cooking and having tedious conversations about policing in the 90s. If only Tony could cook. Look, let's leave him to it and have another drink. I sense another boring politician looming.
Tony, I want to be James Hardcastle. You probably saw him in bloody Newsnight slagging off CIB. Tony's investigating Beckett Park.
Oh, commiserations. You must have spent even more time with that outrageous Semite Feldman than I have. He has all the litigiousness of his race and all the bloody-mindedness of old age.
You see, all this stuff about the rights of the individual is pure claptrap. Underneath it all, he's a real hard-boiled Tory. Believe me.
Trevor Dunning tells me you've got something to go to the DPP, a case against these detectives.
Well, we're getting there.
Trevor Dunning thinks you've done a good job, even if you did need a kick up the arse from me.
That's far from being watertight.
Well, if the DPP drops it, it still looks better for the Met. And I suppose there'll be some disciplinary fallout for the officers involved. It shows willing. Where there is darkness, shed a little light. Trevor! One of Brian Huxtable's untouchables. Do you know each other?
No, but Sue and I have just been talking about you, Tony.
Tony, Trevor Dunning, Deputy Assistant Commissioner Dunning.
Sir.
How do you do? James Hardcastle.
Hello.
Jimmy's one of the new breed of MPs. They know absolutely nothing about anything except how to get themselves onto the telly.
Come on, I got you on telly too.
So we got these people down at Beckett Park. Brian says we're talking about a range of charges now.
We've got a case.
All yours then, James. Oh, and next time I come in for a select committee, can I have Bernie Grant instead of you? I want someone who's not going to give me such a tough time.
That stupid old bastard. All they've done is turn up a lot of shit. When it's spread around, all it'll do is smell.
I didn't expect to see you here.
Oh, I'm the token career policewoman Huxtable always wheels me out. Is it not elite enough for you now?
I just thought you'd feel the same as the chief super. He calls this Huxtable's Culture Club.
Well, he's not wrong. It's all about back scratching, isn't it?
But you're here.
I may be a token policewoman, but I don't have a token career.
They all seem very happy about Beckett Park.
There you are. You've done yourself some good.
And you.
Yes, and me. No one seems to give a damn now if the DPP throws it all back and Corbett and Co carry on regardless.
Could happen.
I wonder how Harry Ross feels about that.
No one asked him to lie for Corbett.
We asked him to tell the truth.
He could have done himself a favour by coming forward earlier.
Yeah, sure, we're always falling over people coming forward like that. The message still is that no one's going to thank you for grassing on your mates, which is not what we said. It's not what you said when you were flinging all that integrity around.
What are you laying into me for?
Maybe because I'm laying into myself. If Corbett and Co get off with some sort of reprimand, where's that going to leave Harry?
It's not my problem. Or yours.
Well, this all seems very intense. I don't suppose just anyone can join in.
Ah, it's the usual moans about the job.
Don't be shy, Maureen. If they were the usual moans about me, that's fine. I don't imagine Tony's approach has ever been very original. He's certainly not beyond my wife doesn't understand me.
For God's sake, Sue.
Sue, I don't know what
You usually stand behind the phone when I answer. It's not quite so easy here.
Sue, you're being ridiculous.
Shut up, Tony. I knew there was someone, but you're not exactly clever about it, having a little tiff here.
No, you really have got hold of the wrong end of the stick. In fact, you couldn't be more wrong.
Tony! Come and have a drink.
Under no less a penalty than that of having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the root and buried in the sand and low water mark, or the more effective punishment of being branded as a willfully perjured individual, void of all moral worth and totally unfit to be received into this or any other worshipful lodge or society of men. Sounds like Harry. Poor old Harry. And the cold shoulder's only the beginning. So where's your fidelity now, you bastard?
I am not having a scene with Maureen Connell. I've never even thought about it.
So you keep telling me.
It's crazy. I'm gonna go at her like that with Dunning and Huxtable yards away. I'm glad I can see the funny side.
I don't think I disgraced you.
It was a wobbly moment, though.
They've asked us back for dinner. I've played my wifely part.
I thought he was going to walk right into it. Huxtable. Maureen did all right, though.
Anyway, you'll probably want to know that my performance at Mr. Huxtable's barbecue was a one-off. Next time, you can go with your lover.
Oh, I am not screwing Maureen Connell.
I believe you. But you're screwing someone. And I'd rather she was bored by your new police buddies in the clouds than me.
Oh, don't be so stupid.
I'm not being stupid, I'm being honest. I don't know how many thousands of hours of my life I've spent listening to you talk about the job, and I really wouldn't mind handing that over to someone else. I bet you don't even remember the last time you asked me about mine. The day of the dinner party. I sat and watched a 2-year-old girl die. And then on the way home I went to Sainsbury's and bought the dinner that you didn't turn up for. And it doesn't get any easier because it happens over and over again.
I'm sorry. I know I should try.
Don't bother.
Come on, Sue.
I haven't forgotten the other night. It'll take a lot of forgetting. I was frightened of you, Tony, really frightened.
I was out of order, I know that. But I wouldn't have touched you.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Sue.
It hasn't gone. And I warn you, if anything like that ever happens again, you'll be on your own. And if you think that'll be easier, it won't be. If I have to go, I want every single thing that's coming to me. I didn't spend all these years for nothing. And if nothing's all there is, my God, it's going to cost.
Understand, Harry, that things are a little difficult. There's a bad feeling in CID. I'm sure what you did was right. But
I told the truth.
And I'm afraid it's your word against Corbett's. With no complaint from Shipton about anything that did or didn't happen in the cell? Well, take some time off, Harry. And think about retirement. You're not far off it now. I'd be happy to recommend...
We thought we'd give old Feldman a send-off. Poor old bugger's had a heart attack. Shame. Don't let us keep you. On your bike.
Dead and buried, Beckett Park.
Time well spent.
I gather Mr. Huxtable and friends are well pleased. I'm sure it made for a nice bit of barbecue chat.
Thanks, sir.
Well, somebody's pleased, don't knock it. A few more notches up the greasy pole for you.
And that's a result.
For some. James Hardcastle's just been appointed to a junior ministerial position at the Home Office. The Tories need a wet there, and he's the most aggressive they've got. All thanks to his high profile on matters of police discipline, if you believe what the papers say.
Yuck.